सबके different trends देखे, radius, ionization energy, electron affinity, and so on. All of those trends were related to this orbital energy trend, right? And now, since we are going to look into the molecules, obviously these molecules will be formed by combination of these atoms. So that's why their energies will play extremely important role. So, all right, so moving forward in MO diagram, this slide only entails some important factors that led to the basically development of molecular orbital theory, and few important points you need to know is that this MO theory has been based on quantum mechanics. Again, in quantum mechanics, you already know we treat all the orbitals as wave functions, and this theory is is valid till to date. Not a single result predicted by this theory has been questioned till now, right? So before MO theory, we had previous theories जो अब हम next lectures में पढ़ेंगे. You probably have seen Lewis structure है, Vesper theory है, ठीक है, and VBT theory, right? All these theories. So these theories were unable to explain some results. These are stated here. For example, according to these theories, they were not able to explain why this He2 positive can exist, right? So that this element was detected in experimentally in labs, but molecule basically, but we were unable to explain using the with the previous theories, right? And again, why N2 is stronger than O2. There were several questions like why the molecule N2 is stronger than N2 positive, but O2 is weaker than O2 positive, right? So that's what's stated here. That was again a question. And then we had heteronuclear systems where different atoms combine to form bonds. What's the role of partial charges in those molecules, right? And then this important concept that was again tested in the lab, that O2 is paramagnetic in nature. So what exactly is paramagnetic? You know, oxygen usually exists in the form of gas, but if I decrease the temperature, I can obtain this this molecule, right, in the form of liquid. Even liquid nitrogen does exist in our chemistry labs. Even in ATLAMs, we use it for different reactions. So if we decrease the temperature, the gas can be converted into liquid. So what happened was they simply passed this liquid through the magnetic field, and they observed that this oxygen was attracted towards the external magnet. So that's what means by paramagnetic. So these were some results that were not explained by previous theories. That's why we needed this theory, right? And using this theory, we are able to explain all such factors. So as students, if you do have any questions, you simply need to unmute yourself and ask. I won't be looking at chat box, right? Okay, so molecular orbital theory, we will see all such factors. The important thing we will be looking in this theory are two main factors: energy of the orbitals, first one, and second, really important, which might be slightly confusing, is the symmetry of the orbitals, right? So this theory is based on only these two factors. According to this theory, only a molecule can be formed when the atomic orbitals, usually this term will be used quite frequently in lectures. AO means atomic orbitals, right? They do have two things. First, they should have similar energy to form a bond, and they should have similar symmetry. For example, hydrogen है, ये 1s है, ये दूसरे hydrogen का 1s है. If they are to form H2 gas, right? Obviously, these two overlap. These two orbitals will come closer and overlap. These two factors should be addressed, or should be same, right? For example, in any homonuclear system, just like H2, O2, there is no doubt कि same orbitals की energy same होती है. 1s अगर hydrogen का है तो दूसरे hydrogen का भी 1s होगा, energy तो उसकी same ही होगी. Similarly, oxygen का O2 है, अगर मैं pz orbital की बात करूँ, पहले ऑक्सीजन का, इसी तरह दूसरा ऑक्सीजन है, ऑक्सीजन एटम है, सॉरी, उसका भी pz ऑर्बिटल है, दोनों की एनर्जी सेम होगी. So when we are talking about homonuclear systems, energy is not the issue, only symmetry plays role, right? Because energy same ही होती है. Only such factors where we will be talking about heteronuclear systems, वहां पे हमने energy भी देखनी पड़ेगी कि वो same है या नहीं है, right? So these two are the basic factors, and we will be discussing a lot about these two factors in the overall next 3 lectures. All right, so let's move forward and talk about energy. So for any molecule to be formed, the first phenomena that should happen is this one, that this is, for example, 1s orbital of the first atom. This is 1s orbital of the second atom. Let's call it hydrogen and hydrogen. So obviously, when a molecule is going to form, these two orbitals should come closer, right? And there is some sort of overlap between these two, and then we call H2 molecule is formed. So let's discuss what are the factors related to energy involved in this system, right? So the first factor is, electron is revolving around the nucleus. Here another electron is revolving around the nucleus. So the first factor that is attractive force would be the attraction between electron and the nucleus. एक nucleus यहाँ है, obviously एक यहाँ पे है. So when both of these will come closer, यहाँ पे उन्होंने बहुत simple system की बात की है, like hydrogen is forming bond with proton resulting in H2 positive. So हम चाहे इस सिस्टम की बात करें चाहे किसी और सिस्टम की बात करें, attraction forces यही होंगी कि when they are coming closer, this electron will be attracted by this nucleus already, but this electron will be attracted by another nucleus. So nucleus and electron attraction, because they are oppositely charged, right? So this is the favorable interaction. This is the favorable interaction, and that leads to decrease in energy, right? Remember, this is the plot of energy on y-axis and internuclear distance along x-axis. Very important term. All the all the factors or the graphs in the next few slides are based on internuclear distance. Why? Because obviously we are forming a molecule, and only molecule is formed when these two, the internuclear distance, then this distance between the two nuclei will decrease. When they come closer, only then a bond is formed. So we do have internuclear distance along x-axis, right? So first interaction is quite simple. At infinite distance pose, this energy is here 0. But as they start coming closer, these two hydrogen atoms, this is going to decrease like this, right? So the next factor is the nucleus repulsion. Quite obvious, since this is hydrogen atom, there is proton in the nucleus, there is proton in the nucleus. When they will come closer, nucleus and nucleus both are positively charged, are going to repel each other. So as the distance, this distance decreases, the nucleus repulsion increases, and that is unfavorable interaction leading to increase in energy. Third factor is the kinetic energy. You guys have seen previously in relativistic effect that as the atomic number increases, the electron revolving around the nucleus, its velocity increases. So I'm not going into the details of the equations we have seen previously, but that's the idea. If you increase the atomic number, the velocity of the electron revolving around the nucleus will increase, leading to obviously increase in kinetic energy. So if the electron was revolving here, and when you are making them come closer, so this electron was at infinite distance, was only attracted to this nucleus. But as you decrease the distance, what happens, this electron will also be attracted by this nucleus as well. So in other words, the attractive force has increased, leading to increase in velocity of the electron or kinetic energy. So again, as function of the distance, this is the graph of kinetic energy, it will also increase. So summing up all the three forces, this is the resultant plot of the product of these three forces. As you can see, this force decreases quite sharply. So till this point, this force was dominant over these two because they were only started to increase. till this dotted line, right? So this is the point, since this is the product, so this is the point at which the energy of the system was minimum. Minimum energy means that's where the system is the most stable, right? So since we are talking about the internuclear distance, so the point at which the system is most stable will be corresponding to bond length. Since this is the internuclear distance, so these are the two hydrogen, suppose 1s orbitals, when they overlap, suppose at this point they are overlapping, and this is the corresponding distance, right? So this this distance between the two nuclei will be called as bond length. Why? Because if I further decrease the energy, the these two nuclei are going to repel, and the energy will increase sharply, as mentioned here, right? Also the kinetic energy. So both of these factors will be dominant there. That's why they cannot, the internuclear distance cannot be decreased further, right? So at this point where this minima exists, that's where the bond length is formed. Or the distance between the two nuclei referred as bond length, right? Okay. So here we are. In any case, in any molecular orbital, formation of any molecular orbitals, what we are going to do is applying that simple postulate of MO theory, that suppose this is the first orbital, and here we have the second orbital, let's call it hydrogen, right? These are the two 1s orbitals of hydrogen. So when they are coming closer, a bond is going to form. Two factors are going to take place at the same time. The first one is the addition of two wave functions. That's the first orbital is going to form. We call such orbital as bonding molecular orbital, right? So when they come closer, there will be an overlap. Since these two are the waves, actually, we do have mathematical form, and you have seen that previously. So when I do add these two functions, I can get a resultant wave or resultant graph as well, right? So when you add these two, there will be constructive overlap, and a bonding molecular orbital is formed. And the second phenomena that takes place is this one. When you subtract these two, an anti-bonding molecular orbital is formed, right? So for bonding molecular orbital, since there is constructive interference, this graph exists. Yeah, that's exactly what you have seen previously. A minima will come at the point, at some internuclear distance, the point at which the energy is minimum. We have just seen in the previous slide. So this is related to bonding molecular orbital, because both of the waves had the same phase. I can also represent the phase with plus and negative sign. So these two had the same phase. When they were coming closer, there will be constructive overlap and resulting in decrease in energy. What happens with the other factor, the anti-bonding? This is the positive phase. This is the negative phase. So this is destructive interference leading to always increase in energy. इस case में energy decrease नहीं होगी. So summing up, there will be in any molecular, in any system where atomic orbitals overlap, two molecular orbitals will be formed, right? If two atomic orbitals are overlapping, two molecular orbitals are going to form. First is bonding, the second is anti-bonding. All right. So we are good with the energy bonding. Due to constructive overlap, its energy is decreased, and its energy will always increase for anti-bonding systems. These are the coefficients related to the extent of overlap. We'll see that later in almost the last slide of this lecture, in the form of orbital integral, that how much portion is overlap. We'll see that later. So that's what we are going to do in the next slide. For any molecule to be formed, we will see in both the factors. Yeah, here. So here they are showing a very simple system. We are talking about only 1s orbitals right now. So these two orbitals, 1s, have the same phase. you know, we are representing phase with the colors. If the color is same, that's the same phase. And very important one, we are talking about the internuclear distance. This is the nucleus here, this is the nucleus here. That's the distance between the two nuclei. So if it's 6a naught, they are far apart. If that's 4a naught, there is some overlap. And this is the point representing this minima. This is, since again this is energy, this on x-axis we have internuclear distance, so that's the minima. And you need to keep in mind, we are talking about the simple system, this one, hydrogen, the ion of molecular hydrogen, right? Obviously for other systems, O2, N2, ग्राफ की शेप यही होगी बॉन्डिंग मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल की, बट इंटरन्यूक्लियर डिस्टेंस उसमें डिफरेंट आएगा. This is only specifically related to 2.5 A naught. Since the minima exists at 2.5 A naught, that would be the bond length. And for bonding molecular orbital, that would be the electron density pertinent to the sigma bond that is forming here. And what happens in anti-bonding? What I did here was, this was post psi1s, this was the second psi1s. I simply added them. Here, what I'm going to do, psi1s minus psi1s. So when I multiply this wave function with the negative sign, its phase will change. So you are probably quite aware that we used to draw 1s like this. This is the graph of psi1s. Sorry. So psi1s का ग्राफ हमने ये देखा था, right? If what happens if I simply multiply this with the negative sign? The whole function gets inverted like this. अभी वो ये positive axis पे था, इस वाले coordinate में था, it would come to the lower one, right? So इस case में इसका phase change हो जाएगा, and when again as a function of internuclear distance, when they come closer, that would be the final result you will get. And remember, in this particular case, here we had the nucleus, here we had the nucleus, electron density was maximum right at the center. Here, electron density is 0 right at the center. Why? Because this was destructive interference, or this was anti-bonding molecular orbital. And that basically also called the nodal plane, the plane right at the center of these two nuclei. So any questions till now? (2.5 A naught, yes, इस case में 2.5 A naught is the maximum overlap that can happen. Otherwise, if I further decrease the internuclear distance, the energy will increase sharply. Whatever we just discussed in the previous slide is being indicated here again in the form of psi1s जो हम plot करते आ रहे हैं अब तक. So that's the picture you are familiar with. Psi1s obviously exists in 3D form, and that's the color density plot. As you go away from the nucleus, the color density decreases, and that's what being depicted here by this exponentially decreasing function. So again, the same parameters, 6A naught, 4A naught, 2.5A naught, we are talking about this simple system here. So that's the psi, what now they are doing, psi1s of the first hydrogen, psi1s of the second, and they are coming closer. You know that here the axis is for the first, and here we have nuclei, the nucleus of the first atom. This is the axis, and this is the nucleus of the second. So when as depicted here, right? So jab 4A naught hua, you can see there is some overlap, and that's exactly correspond to the nucleus mentioned in the figure below here, color density plot, and that's where 2.5A naught, the maximum constructive overlap that can happen, resulting in bonding molecular orbital, right? Destructive में क्या हुआ? You simply invert one wave function like this, and the result is same. There is this is the distance where this minima exists, corresponding to anti-bonding. वहाँ पे energy increase हो जाती है, and this is the nodal plane we achieve. This is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so now let's define different types of bonds that exist, right? अभी तक हम सिग्मा बॉन्ड को अगर हम देख रहे थे, सिग्मा बॉन्ड की क्या डेफिनेशन है? MO wave functions are unaffected by rotation at any angle about internuclear axis. Remember, in all the in most of the chemistry books, the internuclear axis is z-axis. That's the convention we follow, right? So if this is the nucleus of the first atom, this is the nucleus of the second atom, the axis passing through these two nuclei is the z-axis. Other axis will be, one will be x and one will be y, right? So since this is the z-axis, and if you are looking from here, you can see if you rotate around this axis, there won't be any phase change or any change in the shape of the orbital, right? So that's why this bond is called sigma bond, right? Even this anti-bonding molecular orbital, इसमें भी ये axis आपका ये वाला axis z axis है. अगर आप इसको यहाँ से देखो and rotate along this axis, the blue orbital will keep on rotating on its place and पिंक वाला अपनी जगह पे रोटेट करता रहेगा. अनलेस आप एक्स एक्सिस से रोटेट करो तब फेज चेंज होगा, एंड दैट्स नॉट द पॉइंट. वी are going to rotate along the internuclear axis, which is z axis, the axis which passes through the nuclei of both atoms. So any such bond is referred as sigma bond, right? So just for clarity, let me see, can we explain it with a model here, right? So suppose we have this was the nucleus of the first atom, this was the nucleus of the second atom, right? And that's the internuclear z-axis, right? So since we are going to rotate around this axis, and let's move this axis so that this axis is pointing towards you. So what will happen? It would be like this. Now z-axis is pointing towards you. And when I rotate around this axis, this whole molecule will keep on rotating around itself. The red, this will be rotating on its place. This will be rotating along its place, right? So that's the way we define sigma bond. Any such bond where the rotation along z-axis, there is no phase change. So let's move back and define the pi bond. So yeah, so the definition here lies, again, we are going to rotate along the z-axis, the internuclear axis, and if we rotate by 180 degrees, what happens? The phase will change. Phase, they are going to change, right? Such bonds are referred as pi bonds, right? So again, if you imagine you are looking from here, if you rotate simply by 180 degrees, the positive phase will replace the negative one, and negative will replace the positive one. So let's look at the model here. As just forget the colors. This is obviously some the model of some molecule, but for the simplicity, what you need to imagine, this was the positive phase, right? And this hole is the negative phase, right? And the axis that is shown here is the internuclear axis. So if you rotate by 180 degrees, right? If you rotate it by 180 degrees, they are going to change. The phase is going to replace. The negative will come to positive, and positive will come to the negative. Simply, if you if this axis is pointing towards you, you can see that by rotation by 180 degrees, the phase are going to replace each other. All right. The third system is the delta bond, and its definition states that rotation by simply 90 degrees leads to change in phase. So consider this as, if you are looking through here, this is basically the axis passing through the center of all the four electron density plots is the z-axis, right? Z-axis here. So this is sort of square, and if you rotate by 90 degrees, this is going to replace this one, this is going to replace this one, and this one, right? So rotation by 90 degrees leads to change in phase. it will be more clear by the model. Let's go through that. So suppose now this is the z-axis, right? And this is pointing towards you, right? And these were the phases: positive, negative, positive, and negative phase, right? And once I rotate it by 90 degrees, what happens? All are going to replace each other, right? So simply 90-degree rotation leads to change in all the phases, right? And that's why such bond is called delta bond. So any questions so far? Okay, so all right, so since we are discussing the type of bonds here and symmetry as well, I will prefer कि जो हमने next lecture में या next lecture में आपकी p orbitals की symmetry है वो भी एक ही साथ discuss हो जाए. Since we just defined the bonds here, so let's look forward कि हम symmetry element देख लें, उसके बाद we'll look into all these type of bonds in p orbitals as well. So symmetry element or center of inversion. Center of an inversion only exists in the uniform shape. Since we are talking about electron density, so this is the uniform electron density, and uniform electron density only exists in homonuclear systems. Again, it could be H2, it could be O2, it could be N2. The atoms should be same in the molecule, right? And what's the definition? The definition is you are going to assign a point right at the center of the two nuclei along the z-axis again, center of the nuclei, and once you take any point on the opposite side, cover equal distance till center of inversion and then go to opposite point, right? What is going to happen if the phase remains same? The symmetry is referred as G. And in the other case, if the symmetry changes, you pass through center of inversion and cover the equal distance in the opposite direction. And if the phase was different in both the starting and the ending point, that would be referred as U or ungerade. Remember, in case of sigma, the sigma G is basically the bonding molecular orbital and sigma U is the anti-bonding molecular orbital. But in case of pi systems, the bonding is basically had symmetry U and the anti-bonding will have the symmetry of G. So the G and U is not related to bonding or anti-bonding, rather it is related to center of inversion. अगर inversion center से pass करने के बाद आपका phase same रहता है, तो the symmetry is called the G. अगर change हो जाता है, the symmetry is referred as U, right? And sigma और pi के केस में ये opposite है. Sigma का जो bonding होगा वो हमेशा G होगा, pi का जो bonding होगा वो हमेशा U होगा. As you can see in this particular picture here as well, these are the two nuclei right along the z-axis here. And if I start here, this is the center of inversion. If I pass through the center and cover the equal distance in the opposite direction, you can see the phases are different. So that's the pi U or pi ungerade. All right. So let's move to the other symmetry elements of pi, p orbitals. So here we are. So we are talking about symmetry. हमने 1s की तो simple case देख लिया है कि when there is a same phase, that will form a bonding molecular orbital. When the phase is opposite, it would be anti-bonding. Let's talk about the other orbitals. So remember, the Px, Py, and Pz as named by according to these axes, Pz will always exist along the internuclear axis like this. And this is the internuclear axis. And we cannot replace these two. For example, the position of the orbital will always be along the axis. P हमेशा इसी एक्सिस में एग्जिस्ट करेगा, ऐसा नहीं है कि कभी वो रोटेट हो जाए और x की जगह पे चला जाए या y की जगह पे चला जाए. That's not going to happen. So again our discussion is same. We are going to make two orbitals come closer with respect to internuclear distance, and let's talk about the case when 1s is approaching 2px. So you can see in this case, at the same time, the orbital is overlapping equally with the constructive part or the same phase and the opposite phase. अगर कोई ऐसा भी केस हो जहाँ पे constructive or constructive or destructive is happening right at the same time, that is the case which we call incorrect symmetry. That overlap is never going to happen. Remember at the start I mentioned about energy and symmetry. And I mentioned कि homonuclear systems में energy तो same ही रहती है, symmetry का issue आ सकता है, right? So कोई भी case हो, even energy भी same हो दो orbitals की, अगर symmetry match नहीं होती तो वो उस case में atomic orbitals won't interact to give molecular orbital. और एक case उसमें से ये वाला है that constructive and destructive overlaps are happening right at the same time. Second case कब है? जब 2px और 2pz आपस में approach करेंगे. You can see again that this is going to cause constructive interference. This is going to cause destructive interference right at the same time. Again, this phenomena is not going to take place. So what are the correct symmetry that is possible? That 1s is approaching 2pz. Since 2pz is the internuclear axis, so you can see this is the nucleus here, this is the nucleus here, and there will be some overlap here, and this would be the constructive overlap. And suppose if you subtract these two, what is going to happen? 1s का ये positive phase है, and suppose 2pz का negative इधर है, positive इधर है. Here I'm talking about 1s minus 2pz, where we are going to form anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? So इस case में क्या होता है? जब ये आपस में overlap होगा तो destructive interference होगी, and still जैसे यहाँ पे constructive हो रही थी, यहाँ पे destructive होगी. The point is the constructive and destructive are not happening right at the same time. They are positive करने से constructive हो रही है and negative लेने से destructive interference हो रही है. The next case is 2px. Since the 2pz already lying along this internuclear axis, that's why as I mentioned कि ये आपस में ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि 2px rotate करके overlap करें ताकि overlap efficient हो. You might have seen or go through the term linear overlap or sigma overlap. That basically means when two orbitals are coming closer, they overlap directly, like this one, like this one. Here what's happening that already 2pz is lying along the axis, 2px had to overlap in parallel fashion. When they overlap in parallel fashion, what's going to happen? In this particular case, these 2px and 2px are overlapping in positive fashion. We are adding, and the resultant would be this sort of electron density. Positive idhar hai, negative idhar hai, nuclei will be lying right at the center. If I simply subtract these two, 2px minus 2px, तो क्या होगा? So इस particular case में आपके पास कुछ इस तरह का result आएगा. Positive, negative, and negative, positive. Now the result would be this region. Here we have destructive overlap, here we have destructive overlap. So the result would be, this is the z-axis and somewhat like this. Positive, negative, negative, positive. And here is the region basically जहाँ पे destructive overlap हुआ है and electron density is 0 right at the center. So यहाँ पे उन्होंने सिंपल केस सिर्फ ऐड करके दिखाए हैं. सिमिलर फैशन में आप उसको माइनस भी कर सकते हो. क्या करोगे अगर इसको माइनस करना है तो इसका फेज ऑब्वियसली चेंज हो जाएगा. द नेक्स्ट केस इज 2pz. 2pz ओवरलैप, ये हेड टू हेड फैशन में हो रहा है, पैरेलल ओवरलैपिंग यहाँ पे नहीं हो रही. अगेन सेम लोब्स ओवरलैप करेंगे, सेम फेज ओवरलैप करेंगे, कंस्ट्रक्टिव होगा. ऑपोजिट करेंगे तो डिस्ट्रक्टिव ओवरलैप होगा. सो that's what related to the symmetry of MOs involving p orbitals. जो केस 2px का है सेम 2py का होगा, but 2py would you should imagine that's lying outside and inside the plane. केस उसमें भी वही होगा, उसमें भी parallel overlapping ही होती है. So any questions so far? So if you are good till here, let's discuss. This is shown what we just discussed कि sigma bond की क्या definition है, pi bond की क्या definition है और delta bond की क्या definition है. This is the two nuclei right at the center और ये आपका z axis है. ये कौन सा orbital show किया है मैंने? As for this you can say this 1s overlapping in a negative fashion, right? ये positive phase था, ये negative phase था. जब overlap करेंगे electron density center में नहीं होगी, nodal plane आ जाएगा आपके center में. But the point is this is the z axis, and if you are looking through here and rotate, you can see this will be rotating on its place and this would be rotating on its place. So the idea is rotating by any angle, there won't be any phase change, right? ये basically sigma star orbital है, right? 1s और 1s के overlap से बने. So ये picture जो यहाँ पे show की हुई है, that's again the same orbital. यहाँ पे z axis side पे था. Now here z axis is pointing towards you. So whichever way you can imagine it better. अगर आपको यहाँ देखने से इट्स मोर क्लियर कि भाई ये ब्लू वाला अपनी जगह पे रोटेट करता रहेगा इफ यू रोटेट लाइक दिस, और रेड वाला अपनी जगह पे. सिमिलरली अगर ये जी एक्सिस आपको आपकी तरफ पॉइंट करेगा तो तब भी ये अपनी ही जगह पे रोटेट करते रहेंगे. देयर वॉन्ट बी एनी फेज चेंज. दैट्स व्हाई दिस विल बी रेफर्ड एज सिग्मा स्टार, रेफर्ड टू एज एंटी बॉन्डिंग. What's shown here, this is basically the overlap of 2pz and 2pz, right? So जब इनका कंस्ट्रक्टिव ओवरलैप होगा तो इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी सेंटर पे मैक्सिमम होगी एज मेंशन्ड हियर, एंड ऑब्वियसली दीज आर द सेपरेट फेजेस. जैसे नेगेटिव है तो ये नेगेटिव एक दूसरे से दूर ही रहेंगे बिकॉज न्यूक्लियस इज राइट एट द सेंटर. Again, the same definition applies. Z-axis is this internuclear axis. If you are looking through here and you rotate, you can see all the densities will rotate on their places, right? There won't be any phase change, right? So again, this is also sigma bond because it is forming by at internuclear axis by PZ and PZ. You will see that later जब हम O2 या N2 की डायग्राम्स बनाएंगे कि उसमें हम ये देखेंगे PZ और PZ के ओवरलैप से भी सिग्मा बॉन्ड बनते हैं. 1s और 1s का हमने देख लिया इधर. So so what's shown here is basically again PZ overlapping in the negative fashion and destructive overlap, right? So अगर इनका phase opposite होगा, what you are looking at, this is again the internuclear axis, and you can see that this is the region right at the center जहाँ destructive overlap हुआ है, opposite phases हैं. That's why electron density यहाँ पे 0 है center में, and this is the nodal plane, right? And again, this is the z-axis. If you look from here, you can see by simply rotating all these electron densities keep on rotating on their places, right? There won't be any phase change. This will be again sigma star orbital. Okay, so moving forward, ये अगेन सेम केस ही है, ये सिग्मा है पी जी वाला, और उसको अगर आप इस तरीके से देखो, इफ द z axis is pointing towards you, that would be this figure would become like this. That again p sigma star है forming by pz and pz overlap, or and if you look at like z axis is pointing towards you, this would be that's what you will see, that all the phases will keep on rotating on their places. So let's look at the pi orbitals. So here we are, जैसे मैंने कहा था कि पी एक्स और पी वाई का सेम केस होता है, सिंस इन ऑल दीज डायग्राम्स एक्स एक्सिस इज पॉइंटिंग टुवर्ड्स यू. सो इस केस में so it's like slightly easy to visualize y py here. As you can see, these are again the two nuclei. Z-axis is the internuclear axis. If you are looking through here and you rotate along the Z-axis by 180 degrees, what you can see, the blue one will replace the red one will replace the blue one. The same figure here. Here Z-axis is pointing towards you. It's slightly easy to imagine that when Z-axis is pointing towards you and you rotate by 180 degrees, the blue one will replace red one, and that would be the result you will get. So that's why this bond is called pi bond. Here, this is constructive overlap. Why exactly? Because this was the case, positive, negative, and positive, negative. When they come closer and overlap, this would be the constructive overlap. Electron density would be maximum here and maximum here. That's what exactly being depicted here. Okay, nucleus के center में electron density maximum है. That's basically pi bonding. Or you can also call it pi U symmetry. Why exactly? Because this is the inversion center, and if you start at any point, pass through the center, cover the equal distance in the opposite direction, the phases are changed. That's why this is called pi ungerade. All right, so moving forward, and हमारे पास, let's look at the case where we do have anti-bonding pi orbital. Again, this is since this is the x-axis here, this is the internuclear axis, y-axis is pointing towards you. So basically here they have shown px and px overlapping destructively. So when they are coming closer and they will overlap destructively, what's the result you will get? These are again the two nuclei, and you will get something like this. Sorry. Positive, negative, negative, positive. Right at the center, there is no electron density. And that's what's shown here again, कि ये आपका अगर positive है, ये negative है, ये negative है, ये positive है, right? Right at the center of the two nuclei, there is no electron density, right? And why it's called the pi bond? The definition again says that we are going to rotate along the z-axis, and let's see what is the result I will get when I rotate it by 180 degrees. Again, imagine you are looking through z-axis again, and if you rotate it by 180 degrees, all of this will come here and this will come here, right? So that's the result you will get. That's why we call it again pi bond, but here we have destructive interference. That's why I call it pi star. Or pi star I can also name is pi G. Why exactly G? Because since this is internuclear axis, that would be the inversion center, right at the center of the two nuclei. And if I take a point, cover the distance till inversion center and cover the equal distance in the opposite direction, as you can see, the phases are same. That's why this orbital is referred as G. So guys, any questions till now? Either what I'm teaching आपको सब कुछ बहुत समझ आ रहा है या बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आ रहा, क्योंकि I cannot see any questions.
मेरा एक सवाल है.
जी जी.
Sir, I wanted to ask कि सर I just want to clarify कि क्या जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये सही है या नहीं. सर जब 2pz और 2pz का ओवरलैप होगा तो हमेशा सिग्मा बॉन्ड बनेगा.
हाँ
लेकिन
जी.
अगर 2px का होगा या 2py का होगा तो वो होएगा पाई बॉन्ड.
Exactly.
और सर हम इस सिनेरियो में लाइक हमें कोई डेल्टा बॉन्ड के क्वेश्चंस आएंगे उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने के, या वो कोर्स में
डेल्टा बॉन्ड डी ऑर्बिटल से बनता है. क्वेश्चन सिंस आपकी स्लाइड में है, you might see, but what you need to know is that you should look through z axis. वो अगर आया तो बहुत सिंपल होगा. And the only definition you need to know that if you rotate by 90 degrees along z axis, the phase will change, right? So I cannot say कि नहीं आ सकता, but it won't be that difficult. आपको जो चीज जहन में रखनी है वो ये रखनी है कि z axis के along rotate करना है. Suppose if someone is rotating along x axis, तो इस केस में 180 डिग्री से कोई और रिजल्ट आ सकता है. So just stick to the definition and the concept. I hope you will make it through.
Sir, could you repeat what the center of inversion का concept was?
Center of inversion आपका हमेशा दो न्यूक्लियस के सेंटर में एक hypothetical point होता है, but that should be at z axis. Z axis is again internuclear axis, the axis passing through the nuclei. And what you need to do is कोई भी पॉइंट आप रैंडमली ले लो कहीं भी. सपोज मैंने यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट ले लिया, जितना डिस्टेंस मैं सेंटर ऑफ इन्वर्जन तक कवर करता हूँ ही मैंने ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में कवर करना है. इफ द रिजल्ट इज लाइक द सेम फेज एट स्टार्टिंग एंड एंडिंग पॉइंट्स, दैट मींस माय सिमेट्री इज G. एंड सेंटर ऑफ इन्वर्जन का कॉन्सेप्ट सिर्फ यूनिफॉर्म डेंसिटी में आएगा, यानी कि होमोन्यूक्लियर सिस्टम्स. जहाँ पे हेट्रोन्यूक्लियर इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी आ जाएगी, वहां पे आपके पास इस तरीके की यूनिफॉर्म इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी नहीं आएगी. We'll see that later.
Okay, so if it's out of phase, अगर phase differently आता है center of inversion से travel करते हुए, तो उनका आगे हो जाता है.
Exactly जैसे हमने यहाँ पे देखा था इस केस में, right? यहाँ पे आपका again these are the two nuclei. This is the center of inversion. You start here, cover equal distance passing through inversion center. You can see the phases are changed. That's why the symmetry is U here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's get back to. So that's what so far with the symmetry, and we should go back towards now. Most of our discussion will be related to energy, energy of the orbital. So, okay. So let's start with the simple factor, which is we were discussing the simple system, hydrogen, molecular ion of hydrogen. So again, since so far we were discussing about symmetry, our reference is the same. We are talking when two orbitals are approaching each other. So when there is 6a0 distance, this one exactly corresponding to this one, you can see there is quite less overlap. 4a0 पे considerable overlap हो चुका है, right? And what's going to happen in all the cases कि जब भी सेम फेज ओवरलैप करेंगे और बॉन्डिंग मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल बनेगा, उसकी एनर्जी हमेशा कम होगी. Energy will decrease, and for anti-bonding energy will increase. That's what's shown here from this graph as well. And the point at which this minima exists, it's the bond length for this particular system. And here, this is the maximum energy that can be decreased for sigma bonding or sigma G. Both are the same. And that's what the maximum energy that will increase for sigma U. As you can see from this graph, that this is the distance we are standing right now, that the energy of the bonding is decreased quite less compared to the corresponding increase in anti-bonding energy. And that's what's exactly shown here, कि जो internuclear distance आपका achieve होता है, minima ये वाला achieve हो जाता है, उस point पे bonding की obviously कम तो होगी, but corresponding anti-bonding की ज़्यादा increase होती है, right? And remember, in all MO diagrams, whether you are given this system or not, यानी कि यहाँ पे energy axis उन्होंने show किया है या नहीं किया, that's understood that all MO diagrams are being constructed by taking y-axis as energy, right? And that's the system where we are talking about homonuclear system, यानी दो atomic orbitals की energy same होगी, ठीक है? जब heteronuclear system आ जाते हैं, since this is the energy plot, तो अगर फर्स्ट की सपोज यहाँ पे H है, यहाँ पे F है, ऑब्वियसली इसके 1s की और एनर्जी होगी, इसके 1s की और एनर्जी होगी। अगर आपको एनर्जी नहीं भी गिवन, बट यू ऑलरेडी नो द ऑर्बिटल एनर्जी ट्रेंड, राइट, यू शुड एटलीस्ट नो कि आपने 1s हाइड्रोजन का ऊपर ड्रॉ करना है या फ्लोरीन का ऊपर ड्रॉ करना है। जितना here is shows if this is this corresponding to hydrogen, this is corresponding to fluorine, this means basically कि हाइड्रोजन के ऑर्बिटल की एनर्जी ज्यादा है, राइट। सो उन केसेस में आपके पास इस तरह करके ओवरलैप होता है एंड दैट बेसिकली रिजल्ट्स इन बॉन्डिंग, एंटी बॉन्डिंग, इस तरह करके आपके पास उसमें रिजल्ट आएगा। एंड this is the system where the electron density won't be spread uniformly because this is heteronuclear system. And this bonding molecular orbital is closer to this atom, anti-bonding is closer to this particular atom. That we will discuss later. But you should know that when there are different atoms overlapping, you should know the energy trend at least. कि किसका atomic orbital मैंने हायर एनर्जी पे ड्रॉ करना है, किसका मैंने लोअर पे ड्रॉ करना है। All right, so let's move our discussion to the extent of overlap, that is two orbitals. This is the overlap integral plot. Again, on x-axis we have that's basically showing on y-axis how much overlap is happening. Remember, these are mathematical functions. Obviously, in real case, वो इतने करीब नहीं आ सकते because यहाँ पे एक का न्यूक्लियस है, यहाँ पे दूसरे का है. But hypothetically, we can superimpose them in any way, right? Since they are mathematical functions, I can superimpose them in any manner. So let's look at the trend what we will get. 4a0 पे आपका ओवरलैप बहुत कम है. Suppose it's 0.2, बहुत थोड़ा ओवरलैप है, right? When you come at 2, the corresponding result is like this, and this is considerable overlap. At 1, you can see this is the overlap value you will get, and obviously at 0 the value will be maximum. So what they are representing here, that as the internuclear distance decreases, the overlap integral will increase, right? Or you can imagine in this way. Here they are supposed comparing the two orbitals. So guys, here comes the concept of atomic radius, which you have seen previously, that this is the hydrogen, this is the helium. Atomic radius decreases along the period. So it has atomic number 1, helium has atomic number 2. So imagine these two orbitals. अगर ये हाइड्रोजन का है, obviously इसका size ज़्यादा होगा. So that's the overlap you are getting. And in any case, again, nucleus is right at the center. We cannot decrease the internuclear distance as we like in real systems, since this is hydrogen and suppose this is helium. As you can see, the nucleus is right at the center. Again, I cannot decrease a lot the distance. So the point is that there is quite less overlap between these two, right? Because the size is small, and if I decrease the internuclear distance further, the nucleus-nucleus repulsion will dominate, resulting to increase in energy of the system, right? So comparing both the orbitals, what is being depicted here, that suppose I for the sake of simplicity, I take the orbital integral as constant, and what's the result I'm getting? At 0.5 for z equals to 1, the internuclear distance is 2.3. Here it is 2.3. To achieve the same overlap at z equals to 2, you can see the corresponding internuclear distance is quite less, 1.2 a0, right? So that's the point here, that if the orbital size is large, then the particular overlap or required overlap can be achieved at higher internuclear distance. I hope it is making sense. All right, so let's move forward and summary what we have covered so far for s orbitals. These are the linear combinations mean that the two nuclei will come closer along the z-axis in all the cases, right? Two combination of two atomic orbitals of हर केस में two MOs ही बनेंगे, one would be bonding, one would be anti-bonding. Energies of MOs depend on internuclear separation. We have discussed this a lot. Bonding MO shows minimum energy and anti-bonding will show increase in energy, right? Bonding MO arises from constructive overlap. This leads to concentration of electron density right at the center. ये हमने कई बार डिस्कशन किया, जब भी बॉन्डिंग मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल बनेगा तो जो सेंटर है न्यूक्लियाई का वहां पे इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी मैक्सिमम हो जाती है. एंटी बॉन्डिंग हमेशा आउट ऑफ फेज या डिस्ट्रक्टिव, both basically means relates to the same concept कि out of phase interaction होती है, हमेशा इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी बीइंग एक्सक्लूडेड इंटरन्यूक्लियर रीजन. जो टू न्यूक्लियाई है उनके सेंटर में इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी मिनिमम हो जाती है एंड अ नोडल प्लेन अपीयर्स. And finally, interaction between atomic orbitals can be described in terms of overlap integral. Obviously, integral relates to the size of atomic orbitals. Okay, so let's move forward towards the next lecture, and here we are.